everyone, I'm Christina from City Bright Knits. Thank you so much for being here. Let's have a cozy end of month chat about things that are all crochet related. If you've been following along, you know that I do a crochet and chat series, which is basically summarizing the things that I've been working on. But if you're new here, hi, welcome. I'm Christina. I love to crochet with bright colors. I work for hobby.com as a freelance designer, and I'm always coming up with patterns, trying their new yarns, and sharing those reviews with you. So we are at the end of March. I can't believe it. It's flown by. I'm pretty happy about it though, because I'm completely a summer person. I love warm weather, and I'm really happy to see these gray skies disappearing. I've just relocated back to New York City. I used to live in New York, then I moved to London for my husband's job, and now I'm back in New York. So with that comes a little more sunshine, and I'm really happy because I also have this craft room. I'm no longer in a closet. I have an actual room to display my things and have this cozy chair to crochet in. And over this past month, if you watch my last crochet and chat video, I was kind of still unpacking. I was working on projects that I had my shelves, and I had a bunch of yarns that I wanted to try. So now I have tried them, I've used them. I'm going to be showing you what I have finished this month, things that I've worked on, whips that I have ongoing, finished objects, which I'm happy to say I have one. So it is a weekend in New York City. I am so excited because it's finally early spring and flowers are just starting to pop out. We're not as far along as some friends that I have back in London who've already told me that their trees are blooming and things like that. Trees are not blooming yet. There's little buds of green, perfect for allergies, but not enough flowers. We do have a few daffodils and crocus coming up, which is just every time I go for a walk in Central Park, I'm just yes, finally, we have some flowers, but it's still bare trees. So I'm hoping by next month that the trees and flowers will be out, because I have my first visitors since moving back, and I'm just excited to have people. I have my room set up for my crafts. I have, the rest of the apartment in order. So I'm finally past all of that, the hectic part of moving, which feels really good. I'm sure you can relate. Everybody's been through a move, so you know how that feels. And today I went out to lunch, and it is just it's still a little chilly, so I did have a cashmere wrap that I threw on, but I did wear my handmade crochet sweater. I always love when I wear this. It just brightens my mood, and I feel I get noticed in a different way. So it's always just nice to kind of wear your own things. That's the great thing about crocheting wearables. So with that said, I'm going to be sharing a couple crochet sweaters, tanks, cardigans, wearables, let's call them, that I've made this month that I'm sharing with you. One is a cardigan, one's a tank top, and one's a blanket. So no matter what you're into, there's a little bit here for you. So let's get into it. So if you've been here before, you know that I work in collaboration with Hobby. And if you haven't checked out Hobby, you totally should. It is a great company based out of Copenhagen that has beautiful yarns, high quality, and often a lot of things on discount, which is super great. And they're really good at using bright colors. So if you're somebody who struggles with choosing oh, what color should I use? They just have so many colorways that really makes it easy for you to choose what speaks to you. That way you're not stuck in the middle of I kind of like this color, but I'm not quite sure if this shade is for me. They have so many shades, it really makes it easy. I have received 2 yarns this month from Hobby. I can't wait to use them and to show you all about them. I do have 2 products that I'm going to be coming out with in the next month. That's going to be an April video. I'm using Oliven, which is a cotton linen blend, and I'm using Acacia. This is Acacia print, so it has different colors kind of swirled in there. And I'm making garments. That's kind of what I'm in the mood to make recently. So I'm going to be showing you all about that. That's going to be something that's upcoming in the next month, so stay tuned. But I want to talk to you in this video about things that I have finished in March, because we are moving into spring. We're in early spring. We've moved out of winter. Hopefully we're done with the grays and all of that. And now we're figuring out what should I be crocheting for spring. In my resorting of my craft room, since I've moved or whatever, I've just become like a yarn hoarder. Like I have so much yarn. So what I have done, and I should have filmed this because maybe it could have been great content, but I really did it at midnight in like my house clothes. So I was not filming that. But what I have done is taken all of my scrap yarns and basically put them into collections within, like I just used plastic bags from the grocery store, and I chunked a bunch of things in there, basing them mainly on like colors and types and things like that. So that way I have a collection of all of my yarns, and I have said like, okay, these are the pinks, these are the yellows, oranges. For me, I did it by color. Basically like texture and color, do these kind of go together? Most of these in this stash are acrylic, and for a lot of my garments I don't use acrylic yarn. I use mainly like cottons and some more like, I don't know, breathable, lightweight, eco-friendly yarns. And for my blankets I use a lot of acrylics just because the nature of them sturdy, they work quickly, this kind of thing. So I have sorted all of my acrylics into plastic grocery bags based on color. So like this one's kind of like my pink blanket, and I'm gonna have some different colored ones. Let me show you. I just started this, and this blanket realistically only took me like 3 days to make. Over like, I started it, it kind of just turned into a big granny square, and then I just kept going, right? So here it is. And it is not finished. I still have ends to sew in, as you can see. Let me show you the other side. But what I really love about this blanket is it's used all of my like most favorite scrap colors. The light pink has this kind of like, it's a Loops and Threads Carousel is the brand, and it has a like swirly, I don't know, funfetti look to it with different sprinkled colors. This bright pink is a neon color from Loops and Threads. I have used Lion Brand Pound of Love as like the main beige color, and the sparkly gray color is Hobby Miss Glitter. I have a little piece of it. It's like super glittery. You can see all the little tinsel fibers in there. It's called Miss Glitter from Hobby. Absolutely love this yarn. Super, super special. Like if you just add it to a blanket, like isn't that just so special? And I only did 3 rows of the Miss Sparkle, but you can see the effect it's starting to take. And I've also added a little Hobby Amigo Chunky. You can see that those beiges are slightly a different color. And the stitch I use for this is just a granny stitch. And a granny stitch is just basically 3 double crochet into 1 space, and it just gives you that classic crochet look. And for the edging, I have just done a basic shell scalloped edge, and what I did was work it over every other granny square cluster. So you see I have a granny square cluster here, which is 3 double crochet worked into this space. Then I have done a shell of 5 double crochet stitches into the center of that. Then I just did a single crochet for 5 stitches working over the next double crochet cluster, and then repeated onto the next double crochet cluster, just like another shell. So it's worked over 3 double crochet clusters, a shell, skip a shell, and then a shell. Just like a simple edging. Same thing into the corner where I worked 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet to give it kind of that little shell look. And I think it just turned out so whimsical and cute. And this is something that I hope to be listing in my Etsy with those yarn colors that I told you I have in my stash. I'm just gonna make these blankets basically over and over and over in different colors. If you watched my last Crochet and Chat video in February, I talked about like this Zafira yarn that I've had in my stash so long that it's actually been discontinued. I'm sad to say, like it's been in my stash for 4 years. So I finally used it. I made this patchwork cardigan. Can I just highlight that the patchwork cardigan is made with granny squares? So like patchwork can get kind of a boring reputation, but I made these with floral motif granny squares, and I have a tutorial for the granny squares on my channel, and I'm going to be putting a tutorial for the sleeves on my channel as well, so that you can completely like crochet this for yourself. So I have a tutorial for the ribbing, the granny squares, and I'm going to do one for the sleeves. And it's just like so fun to make something that you can wear, and it's in seasonally appropriate colors, and it's just it's really happy to say like, okay, I started this a month ago and now it's finished. So I'm sharing that with you, like something I'm so happy with, and I'm going to be posting more and more about it in the upcoming months, just because, I mean, why should it just deserve 5 seconds, right? Like, we should just like show what we're working on. So that's my finished object. As far as other works in progress that I have going on with my move, I'm kind of going back to finishing just odds and ends that have been left out. I've like really reorged my craft room, and I've been coming across old projects. Something I have here sitting here is this, also like kind of a cardigan, and it's just like a scrappy yarn cardigan, and my inspiration for this was really Love Shack Fancy. If you've ever seen their page, they have a lot of like sweet, girly, feminine things, and what I've worked on this month is just like finishing out the edging for this cardigan. And I actually started the edging like a long time ago, and when I picked it back up, I was like, whoa, I've like come so far in my own craft and talent. I noticed like my stitches are tighter, my edges are crisp, and so it's really nice like coming across old projects. That's something that I've done in March. I've organized my craft room, I've come across old projects. A lot of things that I'm coming across are wearables, and so one of my goals for April is to start selling these things on Etsy. I've ordered tags like to sew into my clothing and products. I can link where I ordered them from below for you, because it's like woven tags with my logo, so I'm really excited for that. It took me a while to find a company that I actually like wanted to use and that was affordable and things like that. A second whip that I have worked on this month in March, that if you have been on my page for a little bit, you know that I share yarn collaborations that I'm working on with Hobby, and I have just started one with Oliven yarn. So Oliven yarn is one that I haven't ever tried before. It's new for me. I love natural fibers, and this one is made out of linen and cotton. It's like kind of a 50-50 blend, and it just comes in these like kind of muted summer colors. It's really great to work with. I have a whole like campaign series video on here for you to watch if you're interested in Oliven, and I do plan on doing a yarn review after I've made my project with it. I think it's only fair to have worked with it and to actually have made something before I give it a yarn review. So that's going to be coming this summer for you. But what I have made with this in a different colorway is, this is still a work in progress. I'm not quite finished, but it is a summer tank top with stripes and a pretty little ruffled edge, which I am still deciding the closure. I posted a poll on Instagram to ask, should this be more of like a ribbed edging with buttons, or should it be a frilly edging with bows? Because you know the bow closure is like very in right now. You're seeing it all over the place in like Aritzia and H&M and stuff. So people voted for bows. So I hopefully am going to do like 2 or 3 bows down along, and I might also add some snaps just to make sure that it like stays closed. But it is made with linen yarn. I alternated like a soft baby pink with a soft blue, and the edging, actually I ran out of blue yarn here, so this is where like my whole freehand vibe, breaking the rules, comes into play. The ripple edge is actually a different color than the stripes, but I think it totally works. What do you think? It's like a slightly different blue here, but it kind of plays off each other. So this is going to be a tank for summer. I still need to sew in the ends and like put the little buttons on here. Here's the back. I wanted to make it something that I was gonna wear, so like not too skimpy. I like that it kind of has thick straps right there, and it's not too see-through. See, like I'm putting my thumb behind it, and you could see like a little bit of light here. So I'm really looking forward to actually wearing this one, and like I said, it's made with that Oliven yarn. I still just need to put on the ends to it, so it's like an almost finished object. And how I've done it is just basically done 2 rows of double crochet in the light pink, and then a row of single crochet in the light blue, and I just did that each time with simple increases for a few rows, basically to fit my underarm. So I started with about 16 stitches across and then increased each time until about 7 inches to fit my underarm, and then just work straight down. And I just put a break in the middle so that I could have a fun kind of closure. And that's all I did. And I did work it in the back loop only, so it gives it a little more texture than if I had not done that. As far as the ripples are made by basically overcrowding the stitches. So what I did was, after I finished crocheting it, I went along the edges with a single crochet stitch in blue. And then into that single crochet, I worked 5 single crochets into each stitch. You can kind of see here, like that's where I've worked the 5 single crochets into each stitch. And the whole point is to kind of overcrowd the stitch so that it starts to ripple. Because I put too many stitches onto that single crochet, it starts to give it this kind of wavy ripply effect. So you can kind of manipulate a ripple how you want to. You can put too many or fewer or whichever, but that's how I did the ripple, and I think it's turned into like a really sweet design. So I have already posted a video showing you Olive yarn, what I plan to make of it. The whole theme of this is like kind of like a summer mariniere top, you know, those French classic seaside tops that are stripy. That was the theme for this, and this is how far I've come at the end of the month. Not quite finished, but by April I should definitely be finished to show you that one. Pop on my page because I'm going to be showing you a whole yarn review on Olive yarn, which is this linen yarn. So far I've really liked using it. This top has worked up really quickly. It's a linen yarn, which I haven't used before, so I'm going to be giving you a yarn review on that and all my thoughts. So the other yarn that I have received this month from Hobby is acacia. So there's acacia and there's acacia print. I have both. This one is acacia print just because it's prettier and it has like little lines of color worked into it. I plan on making another wearable with this. The theme is going to be completely flowery, flower themed. I've started with making a little like treble crochet flower that I've posted on my stories if you've seen those. But what I think I'm really going to do is maybe switch over and do African flower motif. So the African flower motif is one of my favorites. I just think it's so pretty. It's actually like what is sitting behind me here. So this is the African flower motif. It's easy if you search it on Pinterest. I have it saved on my page. It's easy chart to follow, and you can just really use any colors and they come out so unique. So I might make an African flower top out of the acacia yarn. The only downside is that because this is kind of like a hexagonal shape, it takes time to join them together. Some people are great at this. I find myself being fumbly, so it does take time to join this together, but I get so many compliments when I make things in African flower motif that I think that I might use the acacia to make something in that motif. So let's do a little recap of what I've shared with you this month. So I have acacia yarn and Olive yarn that I'm trying for the first time this month. I'm probably going to show you in April like what I've actually 100% finished with it. I used my Zafira yarn for that patchwork cardigan, which I'm really happy about because I've had that yarn sitting on my shelf for so long that I finally made a patchwork cardigan. If you have a yarn that's been sitting on your shelf for so long also, I'm going to be putting this patchwork cardigan into a tutorial for you, so you could make the granny squares and the ribbing and turn this cardigan into one of your own. I am putting that out there for you because if you're anything like me, you just have the yarn sitting around for so long. So talking about different like yarn brands that I love working with and whatever, Hobby is definitely like my number one. I always have yarns from Hobby. For my granny square blanket that I've shown you, I'm just using a bunch of scrap yarns for that. So it's actually a combination of Hobby, Lion Brand, and Loops and Threads. These are different brands that I can get. Well, Hobby I get online. Lion Brand and Loops of Thread I actually get at the craft store, the Michael's craft store that they have here in the US. I know that if you live somewhere else, you might not have access to those, but online they're pretty wildly available, and I can let you know what yarns I specifically used, link below if you're interested. As far as upcoming things for April, I'm going to be coming out with a full tutorial on how I do my patchwork cardigan. I'm already completed with part 1 and I just haven't posted it yet because I would really like to get part 2 finished before I post it. That way you just have like both parts. And I'm also going to be showing you the yarn that I'm using for Olive and Acacia. So if you're interested in yarn reviews for those, then stay tuned because I'm going to be posting those for you in April after I've used them and finished my products. I'm also going to be posting listings on Etsy. So if you're interested in patterns for these things, or if you are a non-maker and interested in wearing crochet wearables, I'm gonna have one-of-a-kind pieces available on my Etsy, hopefully within this next month. That's a little goal that I have for myself. So stay tuned, because I love to share with you here the yarn, the work in progress, show you the finished thing, and I would also like to make the finished thing, whether it's a pattern or a actual wearable, available for you on Etsy. So I have really been up to a lot in March. That's what I've been working on. I've finished a bunch of things. I've had like the Crochet magic happen. I've organized my craft room, which if you pop onto my shorts, I'm going to be sharing more about like my craft room and little glimpses of New York City here and there. And I can't wait for like the next month going into April and May, because it's just such a happy time in spring. Like there's new awakenings and new colors and things like that. So I really want to stick on here and help you figure out like what colors and projects and yarns you should be using for April and May, going into the new season, putting away the more woolly knits and going into more like softer crochets. And so just let me know what you want to see in the next month, what's interesting to you, whether it's yarn reviews or color theory, how you pick things, or pattern writing. I know I've gotten a lot of comments on, can we please have a tutorial for this sweater, or can we talk more about like grading and sizes for when you come up with a pattern. If you're working on something at home and you just love to freehand crochet like I do, how do you figure out sizing? What's some stuff to go to? I have so many thoughts that I want to share with you, so just let me know in comments like what the next video should be. We're gonna pop on next end of the month with what's happened in April. You guys, thank you so much for being here. I just get excited each month to hurry up and finish my projects so that I can share them with you. And I just love having this online community of people from all over the world with all kinds of experience. I really gain so much knowledge from everybody and so much enthusiasm and excitement from reading comments. So I just want to say thank you for being here, and we'll see you next month.